Now, it's a dangerous time to be a businessman in South Africa. South Africa has seen a spike recently in kidnapping cases. Local business people, especially those who operate cash-based enterprises and their families, are more at risk of being nabbed. eNCA reporter Ayesha Ismail has more on this story, joining us now live from our studios in Cape Town. Good afternoon, Ayesha. So has the Western Cape Town, seen a surge in these kidnappings recently, particularly of business people who are vulnerable?
Well, Dan, every so now and then we get reports of business people or family members of business people getting kidnapped. And then, of course, it's all over social media. And the minute the business person or the family member has been found, family will then ask for privacy and for space. And that is understandable because obviously when a family member gets kidnapped, you want everybody to know so that they can help find the person. And in cases where there is a ransom demand, very often in this case is those demanding the ransom will say, don't contact the police, don't contact the media. And so family members are often hesitant to proceed with publicity surrounding the kidnapping because they're afraid that they might jeopardize the investigation, or they might even place their loved ones' lives in danger. And so in most cases, the families will initially talk about somebody having gone missing or somebody having been kidnapped. But the minute there is a demand for ransom, the family members will then go silent. And as I said, that is understandable. But coming back to the latest case in Cape Town, because we have seen quite a few cases of business people being kidnapped in the Western Cape. And in the latest case, we don't really know the circumstances surrounding the kidnapping of, or alleged kidnapping of, a young woman called Shireen Essop. Now, what we do know is that she did work at a place called Dairy Mart in the Philippi Browns Farm area. She left her work premises just after 1 o'clock, and it is still people don't know. Her family members, her work colleagues really don't, as they said, they don't know what happened to her after that. But just from speaking to some of her colleagues and some people close to her, they were saying that at about just after 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, after she left work, she was on the telephone, on her cell phone, talking to her mother. She started screaming, and then she said, she reportedly said that, "Mommy, they are taking me." And that was the last that they heard of her. Now, what we do know is that hours later, her car was found abandoned in the Philippi area, but sadly, she is still missing.
So, Ayesha, is this an indication of how bad things are from kidnappings? I mean, just a few months ago, we saw those boys from the Moti family in Limpopo being taken, and subsequently we're told that the family was on the run. Their parents were also in business, for example. Now, with this particular case that you are discussing this afternoon in the Western Cape, is this an indication as well that this is really getting worse?
It is. It would appear as if it is getting worse. But remember, I mean, I also spoke to a police source who has been working on a number of kidnappings in the Western Cape, and he was saying to me that it happens more often than we would like to think, because, as I said, in most cases, people do not report it to the police. And there's for a variety of reasons. One being they do not trust the police. And secondly, they fear that if they do involve the police, they might place the lives of the loved one in danger. So they try and sort it out amongst themselves. And some people will even go as far as going to beg, borrow, or steal money to get that loved one back home. So they don't want to involve the police or the media in these cases. But we've also seen quite a few what we call transnational kidnappings in South Africa, where people from a different nationality while living in South Africa, would then go and kidnap somebody from that same nationality. And last year in particularly, we saw this happening particularly amongst Ethiopians and Somali nationals, as well as Bangladeshis and Pakistanis, kidnapping their own nationalities and then also demanding a ransom in those cases. But of course, as I said, this police source telling me that it happens more often than we would like to believe. But in most cases, families with kidnapped loved ones do not want to get the police involved.
Thank you very much, Ayesha Ismail, for that update. It's a tough situation indeed, especially, involving loved ones and these huge sums of money, the rise or the increase of kidnappings in South Africa. Now,